On social media, they're everywhere, but especially on Facebook, going beyond simple support for their preferred candidate and reaching vicious new heights of petty name-calling. They're called faceholes, and they make everything about politics. Faceholes can pop up anywhere. Post a cute picture of a kitten, and suddenly you're accused of supporting big government. Post a video of your favorite band, and somehow you're ruining America. Before long, your entire Facebook wall is full of faceholes. Faceholes feel the need to inject their politics and personal beliefs into everybody else's Facebook feed, whether they're invited or not. What's more, typical faceholes will defend their candidate of choice without mercy, without sparing other people's feelings, and without any facts. If your Facebook page has been invaded by faceholes, the only thing to do is wait until after the election, when hopefully Facebook will return to what it was originally intended for. Posts that demand you share them, quizzes that waste time, and pictures of somebody's half-eaten meals.
The Morning Show with Mr. G and Paul Stone. The talk of the Treasure Coast. 1590 WPSL.
No, isn't it, Facebook is pretty much a place to brag about your life. Pretty
much. Yeah, show your kids, your grandkids.
Yeah, you show what happened here, and Will hit a home run, and my son played the drums in the band, and...
It's caused so many fights this year, though, because of the politics.
I don't want to know your politics. I don't want to know. And I don't care that you're for Trump. I don't care that you're for Hillary. That ain't the place for it. Facebook.
Well, that's your opinion, G. You're entitled to that.
And I just don't. I don't even look. I don't even go any further down. When I see that, I just get rid of that person. I don't care about your politics.
I've seen quite a few face holes on Facebook.
I've seen other kinds of.
Well, yeah.
So-called face holes.
Yeah, well, but it's baseball season. It's October.
Yes, it is.
It is World Series time, and we talked earlier about the Chicago Cubs. They're going to the World Series
tomorrow night.
Plus 11 things that have happened since their last title. Now, we did a bunch of these already. I think we stopped where they were still 4 decades away from Jackie Robinson's arrival on the Dodgers. So when Dexter Fowler leads off for the Cubs tomorrow, he'll be the first African-American to play for the Cubs in a World Series. The Cubs made 7 World Series appearances after their 1908 win, but none since Jackie in 1947.
Oh, how about that?
We mentioned the New York Yankees. You know, they've won the World Series 27 times.
They own that. They owned it for a long, long time. Not so much anymore.
The NFL... Wow, you kidding me? 11 things that have happened since this has happened since the last title for the Cubs. The NFL didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
There was no NBA and no NHL.
They were the only organized sport there was baseball. That was it.
The Cubs have had 52 managers. The city of Chicago has won 24 other titles, though. The White Sox have won 3 World Series. The Bulls won 6 NBA titles. The Blackhawks have won 6 Stanley Cups. Yeah. And the Bears won a Super Bowl in 1984. Was that the Super Bowl shuffle year?
That was the shuffle year, yes.
With Jim McMahon.
Jim McMahon.
Oh, yeah.
Refrigerator
Perry.
Oh,
he
yeah.
ran for a touchdown, didn't he?
Which upset a lot of folks because they should have gone to sweetness.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, hey, they weren't expecting a refrigerator Perry. That's why it worked.
That's right.
8 old school championships before the NFL AFL merger. This doesn't count the Chicago Fire, though, because they're a soccer team.
Yeah, that's why a lot of folks are pulling for Cleveland because really they've only won. They've never won they haven't won a championship for a long, long time.
But at least they've been there, though.
Well, they've been there, but they haven't won. And let's face it, they're on the heels of just winning the National Basketball Association title. So
but they do have the Cleveland Browns, and we appreciate them.
Well, yeah,
we do.
They're going to be on fire. Just wait and see.
When?
Betcha.
No, but at least what's different about the Cleveland and Chicago? At least Chicago has had opportunities to be in the World Series. They've been there and lost. Cleveland hasn't even been there.
One nice thing, they're both Midwestern cities,
right?
No coast.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I guess 14. Paul, read that last one for me. I just lost
I will. The last one, it says 14 new baseball teams have been added to the major leagues. In 1908, Cleveland had they had a team, but they were called the Cleveland Naps. Naps.
Naps?
I have no idea what that means.
That's a real strong name for a team, the Naps.
The other teams were Detroit Tigers, Chicago White Sox, Boston Red Sox, Pittsburgh Pirates, Phillies, Reds, and St. Louis Cardinals. Plus some names you might not recognize, the Brooklyn Super Bras. No, wait.
Wait, Super Bras or Bras?
Super Superbas, Superbas.
Oh, Superbas.
The St. Louis Browns, which became the Orioles. The Philadelphia Athletics, which eventually moved to Oakland, who became Oakland Athletics.
Oh, Oakland A's.
And the Washington Senators, which now became the Minnesota Twins. There you go.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Paul.
Mm-hmm. How's your throat? You
Kinda
okay?
lost my throat.
You gonna make it? Next
Next
time, share that stuff, will you?
Yeah, I hear you, brother. Let's send this over to Paul for these stories.
Good morning, folks. It's 8:18. It's 66 degrees. Lovely day out there. Nice and dry. Time for the news from 1590 WPSL, the talk of the Treasure Coast. Well, just over 2 weeks before Election Day, early voting begins today in most Florida counties. Check with your local elections office for locations. The candidates are crisscrossing the state. At a campaign rally last night in Naples in southwest Florida, Donald Trump promised to get the economy turned around in his first 100 days of office.
My reform plan will lift millions out of poverty, raise wages dramatically, and create at least 25 million new jobs in 10 years. And we can enact the whole plan in our first 100 days, and we will.
Trump will campaign today in St. Augustine and Tampa. He'll be in Sanford tomorrow. Hillary Clinton's running mate, Tim Kaine, was in Orlando last night.
I think you guys should change your name from the Sunshine State to the super close election state. I sometimes feel in Florida, wait, are you guys just toying with us?
Clinton herself will rally supporters and do some fundraising tomorrow at Broward College, North Campus, and later in Miami. The latest Real Clear Politics averages of polls give Clinton a 4-point edge over Trump in Florida. Senator Marco Rubio and local Congressman Van Buchanan, both of whom are running for re-election, will gather at roundtable discussions at the Manatee Memorial Hospital today to talk about the heroin opioid epidemic. Healthcare officials, law enforcement officers, and community leaders will also be at the discussion in Manatee County, that's just south of Tampa Bay. It has been the hardest hit by heroin epidemic in Florida. In 2014, Manatee led all 67 counties in heroin overdose deaths per capita, and this year there's already almost 900 suspected heroin overdoses. After increasing as oil prices rose and demand surged from Hurricane Matthew, the price of gasoline in Florida may be heading back in the right direction, down about a penny a gallon since last week to a statewide average of $2.25. And if you're looking for a place where politics and good times actually was a real thing, you might want to head down to the Keys. Florida, according to Key spokesman Andy Newman, this year brings on the lighter side of politics.
This year's Fantasy Fest, which continues through Sunday, is themed Political Voodoo and Ballot Box Barbarians. Hey, how appropriate for Florida, of course.
Newman said it's an affectionate nod to Florida's past politics and a chance to take a break from the season. Newman says it's an affectionate nod, and he said it just gives you a chance to break away from all the garbage going on. And finally, an escaped emu named Taco sent deputies on a wild goose chase after it walked into a bar in Cape Canaveral and ordered a Tom Collins. Well, no, I didn't order any. The long-legged bird, which resembled an ostrich, hopped its 4-foot fence to saunter up to a local Irish pub. The emu's owner said the bird was spooked by a stray dog. It took Brevard County Sheriff's deputies and animal control officer more than an hour to capture the 8-year-old bird. And those are the stories making news this hour. Barney will be back with your traffic in just a moment.
And Paul, I've got some breaking news
Yes,
here.
please.
A potential scandal with the Buffalo PD surfaced today when the mayor demanded that the chief of as a response to allegations. Sorry, I seem to have something stuck in my...
Somebody get him some water, please.
It looks like my new co-anchor may need a glass of water.
8:23 and a look at traffic is brought to us by Kitchen Depot. Need cabinets? Where to go? Try Kitchen Depot. I-95 right now if you're getting on St. Lucie County. We are seeing a vehicle crash with roadblock. It's at I-95 southbound mile marker 121 in Port St. Lucie. Other roadways and side streets looking good on a Monday morning. Call if you see anything at 340-1590.
Right on, Bonnie. Thanks a lot. You know, speaking of the World Series and the Cubs, I guess the World Series win will easily be the best thing since sliced bread. Because the last time the Cubs won, sliced bread didn't exist? Are you kidding me?
There you go.
Wow. It was still 20 years out the last time the Cubs were champs. And that's crazy. Bill Murray, I guess he's the biggest Cub fan there is.
He cried. He burst in tears. Yeah, I saw it on TV. They showed a replay of the Billy just getting sad.
He's a pretty big fan. Before the game, he crashed a White House briefing to talk some baseball. We've got the audio here somewhere. Here it is.
And Mr. President, do you think the Cubs will win?
I feel very confident. I think Kershaw is a great pitcher, but they got too many sticks. They got too many sticks.
Really?
Yeah. And at home, with our crowd, the weather.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of autumn in Chicago. You don't get that in Los Angeles.
Well, it's pretty bad audio, but yeah, he just like busted in and started talking about the Cubs. Now I'm waiting for our boy to start talking about the Indians. That'll make them use him.
Well, maybe.
I bet you if he just comes out and just starts talking about it.
I would think you'll hear it today or tomorrow for sure. Otherwise, it's once it opens up, of course. Unless they bring him to the last game, maybe.
Wild thing. You make my heart sing.
I hate that song.
I've got the cream of the crop. I've got Sarah Palin. I've got Chachi. And get this, I've even got the best Baldwin brother, Stephen Baldwin.
Now, Mr. Trump, in the last week, 11 women accuse you of sexually assaulting them. Do you still deny each of those claims?
Chris, of course I do. I'm completely innocent. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Nobody has more respect for women than I do.
1590 WPSL, 1450 WSTU. We'll pause for your Florida News Network. In Studio 3BA, let's talk sports with Paul Stone.
Well, thank you, G. First, let's talk about the NFL. Jay Ajayi tied an NFL record by surpassing 200 yards rushing for the second game in a row, helping the Dolphins rally past Buffalo 28-25. And, of course, G bit on the wrong horse there. Ending the Bills' 4-game winning streak, Ajayi rushed for 214 yards after totaling 204 yards a week earlier in a win over Pittsburgh. In addition to his 4-yard touchdown run, Ajayi had a 53-yarder when the Dolphins were pinned at the 3-yard line and trailing in the fourth quarter. Ajayi said another 200-yard game was just a part of the plan.
This week was double up. Last week I believe that I leveled up a little bit and was able to do a good job on the field. But this week it was about doubling up on that performance, and I think that we did that today.
Man, two weeks, 400 yards.
That's hard to do.
That's a killer. Yeah, of course, my guys didn't run well yesterday, and because they got beat by the Eagles. They beat my Vikings 21-10, and the coach of the Vikings called his team soft. It was a poor display. We have to stay away from negative plays defensively. We're not good enough to overcome these things. But I'll get them this week in practice. Oh, you know it.
Any given Sunday, man.
Any given Sunday. That's why they play the game, G.
That's right, baby.
Well, yesterday morning, the New York Giants and L.A. Rams squared off in London, with the win going to the Giants. Next week, it's the Redskins and the Bengals. American pro football is a big business over there, and it could become even bigger.
The game here at Wrigley Field has been over
No, that's not it, is it, G? I don't think so. Basically, I think they're talking about London, right?
And 2 in Cleveland against the Indians are...
No, they're still talking about the Indians.
Well,
they can't get it off their mind.
Well,
man.
We're going to go right to
game,
Chicago
man.
then.
Really
Okay,
is.
the Chicago Cubs are long last headed back to the World Series. Kyle Hendricks outpitched Clayton Kershaw. You didn't watch the game, G.
I didn't watch
I tell
any
you,
of it.
that Hendricks was incredible, man. He pitched a shutout for the most part till the 8th inning. He pulled him out in the 8th inning. Kershaw he was the guy who got all the press, of course, and he was just battered around as the Cubs won 5-0, kind of tying up the NL Championship pennant series.
Now, I've got the Cubs pitcher talking about it.
Please put him on.
Here he is right here.
Oh, man, obviously the biggest start of my life. I knew that going up against Kershaw again. We had such good battle in game 2. I didn't have all my good stuff, really. Today, that might have been the best game I pitched all year. I had my fastball command, changeup, curveball, had everything going. Wilson behind the plate. We were on page all game long. But honestly, when you're facing a guy like that, those couple early runs we got were huge. It allowed me to kind of attack more. But it's unbelievable right now.
Well, as we all know, these two teams kind of combined to be the two franchises with the longest World Series title droughts, combining 176 years without a championship. Well, the game begins on Tuesday, tomorrow night, as we talked about, and then they play 2 games in Cleveland, 3 games in Chicago, and if it goes beyond that, 2 more back in Cleveland. So they got 4 out of 7 games.
And one thing that will not happen.
What's that?
There will not be a tie.
There will not be a tie. That's right.
Baseball, there may be extra innings.
Baseball has no time clock.
I got
no
that right.
clock, man. Play it till it's done. Anyway, the Cubs have opened as heavy favorites to beat the Cleveland Indians over the World Series. Westgate Las Vegas Sportsbook
they don't know.
set the line as Saturday night after the Cubs beat the Dodgers to a clinching Game 6. Anyway, here's how it's going to work, G. If you throw down $175 for the Cubs, you win 100.
Wait.
Yeah, that's right.
Wait a minute.
Well,
if you spend 175 and you win 100?
You get the 175 back as well.
Oh.
But you only win 100 for a 175 investment.
Oh,
now,
okay,
if
that's
you
not
bet
bad.
on Cleveland,
all right, here we go.
You bet $100 there, you get back 155 plus your hundo. So that's how you play it, G. Anyway, you'd like to have a small bet here, maybe lunch or something. You're betting
it's
on
a Beggs and Aiken or something like
You're
that.
on Cleveland, right?
Yeah.
I'm on the Cubs.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll breakfast.
Exactly.
You
Well,
got it. Unless it ends in a tie.
Absolutely. Anyway, G, if you want to catch the World Series game between the Cubs and Indians in person, it'll cost you a pretty penny. WBBM's Maria Sobey, what she reports.
Games 1 and 2 in Cleveland against the Indians are about $800 apiece for standing room only tickets. Best seats in the house, upwards of $12,000, and that's the cheaper option. Game 3 of the World Series held at Wrigley Field will have tickets going for $2,200, standing room only. Best seats in the house, topping off at $50,000. Miriam Sobe, CBS News, Chicago.
And, G, you're all caught up now in the sports scene.
You know, that doesn't seem terribly expensive. I mean, it's a lot of money, but when you compare that to how much it would cost to go to the Super Bowl or something like that,
There's a lot of people in Chicago who would pay that kind of money just to see that at Wrigley Field.
Standing
yes.
room.
So the cheap seats are $800.
$800 standing. Standing only.
How much does it cost to sit back there on that area that new area where you sit like on the rooftop or something?
Well, yeah, and in Cleveland, of course, a little different deal. They got the drummer playing dum 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 dum. And
nice.
whenever the batters get to bat, they start playing the drums. You remember the movie?
Well, yeah,
right?
yeah.
The drummers are real,
and they're sitting in the stands.
Yeah, that's right.
Man. See, they got.
I know.
But they're going to let that happen. But they're not going to let
Charlie,
our
come
boy.
a calling. Charlie's got to come.
Charlie's got to make a big stink about this.
Let's get Charlie on the phone.
If he
and
makes
tell
a big
him.
stink about it, then I think they might let it happen.
Yeah,
Okay. All right, good stuff there, man. 8:43 now. It's a blended morning show. 1590 WPSL, 1450 WSTU. Play ball.
Stardate 613213684. You're hearing the morning show.
Actually, the blended morning show. Yeah, we're all here today. Well, except Mike.
Something's wrong with my crew. The attitudes have changed, but the faces are the same. 1590 WPSL. It's the talk of the Treasure Coast.
And our space case has joined us, Bonnie.
Yes, good morning to you, Randy Siegel.
And good morning to you.
Now, Randy, I want ask that question that you asked me to Paul, please, so maybe he can have an answer for you.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, all I want to know is how much money would I make if I bet on the Cleveland Cubs?
Well, I'm not sure Vegas is going to take that bet.
I figure I might want to get the best of both worlds.
Well, I
got it, buddy.
I understand.
If I'm spacey, I may as well try it,
There you go.
So what's going on in your space world today, Randy?
Well, in my space world, we had a very successful rendezvous and birthing. Yep, over the weekend on Sunday, we had the Cygnus module reach the International Space Station. So the SS Alan Poindexter reached on Sunday at 7:28 the proximity to the International Space Station, where the robot arm latched onto it, and then at 10:53 it was berthed to the International Space Station, made a hard dock, and then the hatches were opened up late in the day, exposing its 5,300 pounds of equipment, food, clothing, spare parts, packaging material, scientific experiments, where it'll spend about a month attached to the International Space Station. They'll be unloaded, and then about 4,000 pounds of garbage will be placed inside the module.
Now, Randy, let me ask you, when someone else other than us goes up there, do we kind of ship stuff on their on their dime, since they're going up anyway. Here, can you take this up there for us?
Yeah.
Oh, it does work that way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's not just American stuff. It's Russian stuff as well. But mostly the Russian materials go on the Progress. And from the Japanese and any other countries, they typically go on American modules.
So anytime anybody goes up there, anybody that's a part of the alliance is allowed to ship some of their stuff while they're on their way up there. And you're going that way anyway, so here, take this for us.
Absolutely.
I'll bet it's not very cheap, though. I bet it costs you big money, huh?
Well, it all depends on what your contribution is to the International Space Station.
It is $25 for an extra bag to take on the space shuttle.
Well, it just depends. If everybody can consume the munchies, then, if you share, it's okay.
Okay.
If you're bringing up hot sauce and we're all going to share it, then that's all right. But if you want to just get a little small packet for yourself, it's going to cost you a lot of money. They've learned sharing quite a bit. But this particular Cygnus, as it comes back and just before it starts burning up, they're going to start a fire inside the spacecraft. And if they want to know exactly what big fires are, how they're controlled in a weightless environment.
Say
It'll be the second experiment.
They're going to start a fire on purpose?
Oh, yeah. This will be the second time they do it, and they'll be taking pictures of it, and they'll have monitors inside, because we really don't know what happens with large-scale fires in a weightless environment.
We'll see. We'll see soon. Wow. I don't know if I want to be the first person to take on that experiment.
I would not want to do it from inside.
No, heck no.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. Experiment someplace else. Well, this is one you guys are going to really love. The Chinese had their first selfie from outside. Seriously, what they did yesterday was they launched a micro satellite, a small satellite from the Tiangong spacecraft.
That's one of the Toyconauts, right?
That's right, one of the Toyconauts.
Very good, Gene.
They launched the small satellite that contained a camera, and then they took pictures of the Tiangong and the Shenzhou spacecraft.
Why do you have to say it that way with the accent, Randy? What are you trying to do here?
You got 6 with egg roll. Don't give me a problem.
Oh, stop it. Here we go.
But the bottom line is it was the first selfie they've ever taken of a spacecraft themselves.
Oh, very cool.
Very nice.
Kind of interesting, I thought, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Chinese are hoping to work with the Russians on future models of their space station starting in 2022. They hope to have their space station fully constructed in orbit. They're going to start with their core module on the next Shenzhou in 2018. So they're moving ahead.
So they want their own deal. I mean, the International Space Station ain't enough for them.
Well, they can't go on the International Space Station.
Oh, okay. They're not a part of the deal.
No, not at all.
They don't want to come off that cash, huh?
No, not the cash. It's technology transfer.
And meanwhile, the U.S. idly sits by and watches everybody else gain into space.
Yeah, China's just been sitting by, and it's tortoise in the hare. And the U.S. says, we can't deal with you. We're not allowed to because Congress says so.
Well, then I'm taking my ball and go home, and I'm going to bring my own ball.
You got that right.
There you go.
All right.
And now they're trying to say, hey, maybe we'll look at you a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully they won't be too late.
Wow.
Tomorrow we're going to talk to people about the Cassini spacecraft seeing changes on Titan and Uranus. Notice how I said that?
Excuse me?
How's that again?
I beg your pardon?
I'm not going to get in trouble. No, you can go me all you want. You can go me all you want.
Uranus? I've never heard
incorrect.
it worded that way. Uranus.
No, not my high school space
Ain't going to get in trouble that way.
Okay.
And we're also going to talk about Pluto. So until then, have a great day, everybody.
All right, Randy Siegel, live from Uranus by way
and
of
Pluto.
Jupiter, Florida, at 8:52. We'll be right back.
You're hearing the morning show, Talk of the Treasure Coast, 90 WPSL. Going to have the time of your life, I promise.
And we're going back in the day.
Back in the day, G. Well, back in 1970, President Nixon asked record companies to reduce the number of songs containing lyrics about sex and drugs. His request is still being honored today.
When I get this feeling, I want
43 years ago, Kojak, starring Telly Savalas, debuted on CBS. Who Loves You, Baby? He was Jennifer Aniston's godfather. Did you know that?
Did he have a deal with lollipops?
I think he had a messed up hand too. You know?
I don't know about that.
Oh yes.
What do you mean?
You
What's
were
wrong
on-
with it?
He had it was like this, a claw
Oh, it
hand.
was?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Sure. And 38 years ago, Keith Richards was convicted in Canada of heroin possession.
No.
For which he received a 1-year suspended sentence and was ordered to play a charity concert for the blind. It says here, don't take drugs unless you're a rich and famous rock star who can get off. Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
27 years ago, televangelist Reverend Jim Baker was sentenced to 45 years in Hoots Cow.
Is he still there? Is
And
he
fined
still alive?
$500,000 for conviction, 24 counts of fraud and conspiracy. PTL, baby, praise
That was
the
him
Lord.
and Tammy Faye, right?
Yes, him and Tammy Faye
I remember
Baker.
that.
And let's see, 19 years ago, Marv Alpert was spared a jail sentence after he apologized for
Wait a
biting his
minute.
lover's backside.
Wasn't he wearing women's panties or something?
And, yeah, in a wig or whatever. Yeah.
I mean, yes. I loved him doing basketball, the
He's good.
play-by-play.
He's good.
Oh, he was
He's
good.
very good. He's very good.
Whatever. Is he alive?
No, he's still playing, still working.
And his son.
Oh,
His
yeah.
son sounds just
Yeah,
like
he does.
him.
Yeah, he's still working it.
Yes.
30. Let's see what else you got here. G. 11 years ago, in 2005, civil rights pioneer Rosa Parks died at age 92. She had a full life, didn't she?
Nice full life.
Yeah, she sure
Very
did.
good.
Yeah, let's see here, G. What else we got going here? Well, let's see.
Oh, I thought you had all that together over
Well,
there.
I thought we were going to do something else first, G. But hey, it's basically 25 years ago, in 1991, Star Trek genius Gene Roddenberry died at the age of 70. 19 years ago, in 1997, the hilarious documentary Trekkies was released.
Oh, I never saw that.
I never either.
I didn't even know about it.
19 years ago, in 1997, Don Messick, the voice of Papa Smurf, Scooby-Doo, Astro on the Jetsons, and Bam Bam on the Flintstones.
Bam, 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 bam.
And Boo Boo Bear on Help is Hair Bear Bunch. He died at 71.
He did Boo Boo too?
He did Boo Boo too. He did.
I mean, Bam Bam didn't do nothing but just saying Bam. Boo Boo.
Exactly.
He did a whole lot of voices,
Mr.
though.
Ranger, Sir Yoki, my boy. No, that was Augie. You remember Augie Doggy and Daddy? Augie Daddy and Dog? No, Augie, my boy. He was a talking dog.
I don't recall
Oh,
that.
you don't remember
I don't
that?
recall
Okay.
that, no. I do know that the album Suddenly in 1984 by Billy Ocean, featuring the smash hit Caribbean Queen, was released and hit double platinum in September of 1985. Can I talk up to the last word, G? You
Go
think?
for it, man.
If you're a rock and roller, you got to be able to talk about the weather, the sports. Talk about Cliff's funny nose with a red bow on it. And then we're going to hear from Billy Ocean coming up with Caribbean Queen.
Keep going, keep going. Keep
No,
going.
I think we don't have time, G.
We're out of here, Paul.
Have a great night. Be Bonnie, thanks for coming up, girl.
Have a great day, guys.
We're WPSL Port St. Lucie, WSTU Stewart. Talk to you tomorrow morning, guys.